Hello folks, it's Patty again, and I wanted to add a little bit about the online A&P course that's currently available and ready to go. I actually opened up the course as a student would see it, so I wanted to kind of take you through what you would see once you enroll in the course. And as I've mentioned, it is always advised to start with Section 1 and progress in the order that's given. And you can take breaks in between each section, but each section is only $50 as far as the cost is concerned. So let me pull up what it looks like from a student view. Okay, so this is course 1, and it contains, I think, the first 5 chapters of the textbook and 5 different sets of video lectures for 5 different chapters again. So for chapter 1 is the introductory chapter, and you can see that right here. Let's see if I can get my handy dandy pen out. We'll make it blue. And so the chapter 1, you can see, has 5 different video lectures, with the last one being kind of an oral quiz, where typically in a normal classroom I would ask my students, various questions just to ascertain whether or not they're understanding the material. Here in this video, I ask the question to you. As an online learner, you can pause, see if you can answer it, and then I provide the answers after that. After that, we see that there is a list of review questions. So when I click on the review questions, this is something you can print. Okay, so this is just the review for chapter 1. And you can see a partial outline. And then there are questions for you to answer on your own. And I don't collect this, but if you have any questions about this, you can get a hold of me. There is a discussion board forum in the course where I can respond to your questions, or other students can, and you can have some sort of conversation about the material that you're going through together. And then I've also provided the actual slides that you see on the PowerPoints that you're watching. Okay, so like for instance, this is one of the PowerPoints on homeostasis, and then on anatomical terms. So all of these slides are available to you. And again, you can print these out, or you can just kind of watch them online. And as you watch the video lectures, you'll have the same slides that you're seeing on the screen, and you can write your notes on that. And I think that's a great way to progress through the course. So that's all provided for you as a study tool. And I'm hoping that you'll use that to help you prepare for the online assessment, which you can see right here. Okay, so this assessment for chapter 1 has 25 questions. I'm not going to open it up because I don't want to show all of the questions available before you're ready to take it. But once you open it up, the questions will present themselves, and it's graded right away. So you can see after you submit your answer whether you answered it correctly or incorrectly. And as I've mentioned, for the students that have enrolled in this course, if you score an average of 75% on all of these quizzes, for every single chapter in all of the different courses, all 7 courses, 3 in A&P 1, 4 in A&P 2, then you will receive, upon that completion, a certificate of completion. I may in the future add a document for you to fill in as a kind of a final exam. I may do one for A&P 1 and a different one for A&P 2. And that would be more of like essay questions that you would provide to me, and then I would grade those. That would make it kind of a more rigorous course, kind of more similar to what my students are doing. For instance, I just gave final exams today, and it was all essay. So the first course, the first course deals with chapter 1, which is the introductory material. Chapter 2, which is a review of chemistry, including biochemistry. Chapter 3, which is cell biology. Chapter 4, which is the study of tissues or histology. And then chapter 5 is the skin. And I think I had one person post a question on the YouTube video I had earlier, whether or not the 9th edition of the textbook was still recommended. You can probably get that edition of the textbook relatively cheap online, like through Amazon or Chegg. But if you want one of the latest editions, you can buy that through the publisher. I provide a link to that site on my website for this course. And with that, you can decide whether or not you would like to purchase the ebook or a physical copy of the book. And with either of those two, you can also purchase access to the online material, the ancillary material, which allows you to look at like a cadaver lab. And perhaps I'll give you a snippet of what that looks like too. But I want to actually show you the lecture material. So let's go to chapter 1 again. And I'm going to show you one of the lectures. So here's what you will be watching and taking notes on.
We have to assume that the body is in a certain position. The bone lies right here. It includes just the face, which
I'm
is
just
the
kind of
face
fast
region,
forwarding.
quadrant, and the right lower quadrant. Now remember, when you're looking at a human model or figure,
so you see images, which I provide those images in the PDFs, and then you hear my voice describing what is on each slide. And your job is to take really good notes, and then you can answer the review questions, and then you'll take the assessment. So for those of you that might be interested in the ancillary online materials that the publisher offers with the newer editions of the textbook, let me take you through that as well. Okay, so this is the study area, similar to what you would see. I can't remember what this is, the 9th edition actually, so I think you can access it for the 9th edition of the textbook. And these are the authors, Martini and Nath. And you can see there is a scroll down window for every single chapter in the textbook. And we cover these chapters in those video lectures I've just mentioned. So I'm just going to go to chapter 1. You'll notice that there is an ebook, which you can purchase, or you can have the physical copy. So, you know, some students really like to have their hands on a physical copy of the textbook. They can highlight it. But even if you have the ebook, you can still do highlighting. You can still make annotations there, make notes. So both of them, I think, are great. It just depends on what your personal preference is. There are some practice tests. There are some practice other exercises like labeling, matching questions. So there's lots of great ways to learn here, but one of the things that I really like about this ancillary material is that they have what's called the PAL, Practice Anatomy Lab. So I'm going to click that, and we're going to open that up in a new window. I can make this a little bit bigger. So Practice Anatomy Lab is just what it means. It's an anatomy lab that's virtual, that you can see. And so this course that I'm providing you is just kind of a lecture-based course, but this allows you to actually see hands-on various things you would do in an anatomy lab. For instance, there's a virtual human cadaver. So let's just say we want to dissect components of the cardiovascular system. So I'll just pick the heart. And you can see they have a dissected cadaver here, and you can kind of go into deeper layers and deeper layers. All right. And there's various other images we could look at. So there's the heart all by itself. Maybe we can look at the digestive system, I think, since that has a lot of different organs. Sometimes that one's a little bit more interesting for students. Let me show an abdominopelvic view of the digestive organs. Okay. So here we're looking into the abdominal cavity, which is below the diaphragm. You can see the liver, you can see the stomach here, the omentum. So it does provide labels. You can even click on the name and it will pronounce it for you in case it's a word. I mean, most of us know how to pronounce stomach, but if you're from, a different part of the world, maybe, having that pronunciation is helpful. And plus, in anatomy, it is kind of like a different language, so having that ability to click on a word and hear what it's supposed to sound like is quite beneficial. So Practice Anatomy Lab offers that. In addition to the human cadaver, it offers anatomical models. Okay, so let's say we want to look at some models of the nervous system. Okay, and we want to look at the central nervous system. You can see various brain models, and again, everything is labeled. We can look at models. Let's go to our favorite, the lymphatic system. Okay, and we can look at the tonsils, the 3 different types of tonsils. So there's lots of different images to look at in Practice Anatomy Lab. There's also histology, which is the study of the different tissues, and you can go and practice those as well. So that's just a little overview of the course itself. I may assign things from Practice Anatomy Lab so that we can make this a full human A&P course down the road. But right now, I'm only assessing over the lecture material that I've provided for you. So I hope this helps. I'll put a link to the course in the description below this video. I hope you're all having a wonderful day, and I really would love a lot of the natural health students and professionals to join us in this course so that you can really up your game, learn the structure and function of the human body so that when you're working with clients, you really have that foundational knowledge. It is so helpful because you're working with individuals that talk to doctors, that talk to other health professionals, and they're coming to you for help, and they want to make sure you're on the same level as the other people that they talk to. So that's all I'll talk about right now. If you have any questions, please let me know. I hope you all have a wonderful day.